Might as well get this review started. Starting with, wire being used is the custom Z Reviews cable from Periapt. Some of the proceeds go to heating my house. So if you go to Periapt and pick these up, they're available in different heads and different connectors. This happens to be the 4.4 Pentacon. It is the colors of the channel. And I'm like, Periapt, good job. It's very, very... Here's the thing. In the world of audio, which I've literally... This is the world of audio. We've got black and silver. And black and silver and black and black and black and black. And there's a purple down there because we have to show off Geshelly Labs. But it's nice to see something just stand out. So all you're going to be seeing is that and the wallpaper. And the saddest fucking thing ever. I picked this wallpaper, right? Of course, it's small, it's cute, it's accurate, it's artistic, it does the job. But that maroon, something about that particular shade of maroon, I'm seeing moving lines in the background, and then I could see the burn-in on the screen. And I'm like, what the? That's a stop button from FooBar. I could, even though my FooBar is transparent and it's barely contrasty, I can see the stop button, and I could see a square up there, a white square, that completely corresponds to when I have a browser open and the second tab selected. So this monitor has been in use here since the start of this channel, basically. So it's if it goes, I'm gonna have to buy literally another one of those NEC EA294 WMIs. But that's not what this review is about. It's not about a sad monitor. It's about this, which is the Topping D10. Are you serious, son? Son, are you fucking... Like, I blocked my window entirely, and it's just in my eye. You know what? We're gonna keep going. This is Z Reviews. We complain and we cry together as a group. This is fine. Fine. What the fuck is this, Zeos? Didn't you do the Topping D10? Yeah, here, look. Here's a Topping D10S. Topping D10 was the first one. It actually ran my whole review desk because it has a very unique property that there's not many of them that do this, but I'll talk about it here. The Topping D10S is simply the updated version of the Topping D10. This is the Topping D10 balanced. So, and it's only balanced out, and it's only USB in. So if you're covered, download your wallpaper and go away, you're done. You can't, if that doesn't cover you, then you're done. Here's what the D10S look like. It has a big screen that shows you the bit rate or bit depth, and then it says PCM, and that's it. There's no controls, there's no buttons, there's no on-offs. They don't do that. This one's 140 on APOS, and this is like 109 on APOS. And if you look at the back of it, you see what you normally would see on a DAC. You see USB, coaxial, and SPDIF. But there's a circle around the SPDIF and says SPDIF out. This is only USB in. That's why the laptop's out. If it's USB in, I mean USB to the laptop sees this, it says this is your sound card, done. Then these SPDIFs are out. So it's actually converting USB to coaxial or fiber optic. In this case, I'm taking the coaxial, running it over here to the Matrix Element 1, I think is what its name is, a little thing. So this is acting as my DAC with balanced outputs to Musician Andromeda, or, and we'll get to the reason why I have the Topping L50 here, because it's things again. And then this was RCA out. This only has balanced. So take this box, everything you see here, screen, cover, no power plug, it's just USB driven, same as this. And then instead of RCAs, you get balanced. By the way, it comes in silver too, which I think is a much nicer look. Silver. Although black and silver, I'm complaining about black and silver, and black and black and black and black and black and black. I still think the silver looks better. Purple. I'll talk about the Duke too in a second. So I hooked this up on my desk. I'm just like, I'll give it a quick review because I'm Zeos and it's a DAC and I know how all DACs sound the same. So if we all know all DACs sound the same, first thing I got to do is make sure it at least crosses the bar where it's like, does it sound like something's wrong? Does it sound as good as every other DAC, or does it have some sort of special features and sound that makes it sound slightly different or better than everything else? And it falls right into that middle category. I'll hook this up, $140. It comes with these, because the back of this can't fit a full-size XLR. So Topping has now adopted, because Topping did it with the L50 and E50 stack. But this one at least comes with these adapters, and they're TRS, which means they're stereo. They look like they're for stereo headphones, but it's not. It's to plug in here so you can get a 3-pin XLR output. And that's the wrong one. This one has to go in here. World's best XLRs now go in here, and I'm plugging this in, and it makes it a slightly chonky back end for this. And that's going into the Musician Pegasus, and I've got the Anandas here, and I'm just like, all right, where's my play button? Do I hate anything that's happening? Is anything that this is doing, taking the USB, converting it to 4.2 volts, and pushing into that, is anything bad? Does this sound like shit? No. It's nice to know the sun exists. So I guess early December, I gotta watch the fuck out. Only the good die young. Oh, baby, it's okay. You know, I have, listening to the Musician Andromeda, which is really one of the only amplifiers I've hooked up to this, because I know the Andromeda, because I'm obsessed with it. I am not at all concerned about the quality of the output of this. That being said, it's showing me 192, and it has no other features. The only other feature it has is the fact that it has coaxial and SPDIF output. So if you put this on your desk, like I had it on my old review desk, I don't have one here. Do I have one here? No, I've replaced this in my insane fucking world with the Pi 2 AES, because the Pi 2 AES literally wirelessly gets audio from this sent to it so that there's no connection, so there's no noise. And then that has like 5 outputs. It's got 2 coaxials, a fiber optic, an AES, an I2S. It could even hook up a USB to it, but those all output at the same time. That covers my shit. Before, what I did was have one of these hooked up to my laptop, and then just had the fiber optic come out and go into a bunch of splitters, and the splitters fed everything. And then I had an RCA out that was good enough. The original D10 was a good enough DAC. Then the D10S, this one came out, and it's a better DAC. Like that, the D10 was an original. It was like slightly below the line of like, okay, it sounds good enough. It sounded good enough to actually output the RCAs. Then the D10S, this one, upgraded the internals, didn't change anything else, sounded better. So it got into that like perfect mid-range band of like, do I care that it's only $110 and not $700? Not really. Zeos talking now. Zeos has a very, very intimate relationship with DACs. It has to be good enough. And this one was good enough. The D10S was good enough. That's why I have 2 and I haven't sold any in the yard sale. The other cheap balanced DACs now, because this steps onto the stage as one of the cheapest balanced DACs you can buy. Balanced? What's the cheapest shit balanced DAC? There's the Modius. How much is the Modius? Like 150? 200? The Modius was previously, I think, the cheapest balanced DAC. Or maybe it was this, because this is the Grace S-DAC balance. This was a drop, and this was balanced out or unbalanced out with a 3.5, and then I had a coaxial optical output with a 3.5 millimeter again, and it was powered by USB, and then that was it, and you had the switch here. This is very hard to come by. It has to show up on drop, and they don't ever do. And then Geshelli Labs was putting out the Enoch 2 Pro, which was fiber optic or coaxial digital only in to give you balanced and unbalanced RCA and XLR out. And I've got a fuckload of these. And these have basically been replaced now with the JNOG, which I have 3 of them down there running the whole of this. Every one of these amps, including the fucking $5,000 Solaris, which I'm not using the DAC, so really it's only $4,000 worth of tube amp, is running off of a Geshelli JNOG. And now I have the JNOG. No, is there JNOG 2? Is the J2? Oh God, there's the J2, which is the wooden box one. So yeah, okay. So basically, cheap I'm gonna use the blue tack that's on the bottom of that to hold that. In the realm of cheap DACs, balanced DACs, only a DAC. This one probably right now sits at the most available, affordable, and it exists. And since I'm running it through Musician Andromeda, and I'm turning up Handsome Family, and I'm saying, God, this amp sounds great, and these headphones sound great. If I don't... This is my little... Shh, don't tell anybody this. But if I'm talking to someone about audio, and they say these headphones sound great, I'm like, cool, I'm all with you. These pads make the best difference. I'm all about it. This amplifier powers them perfectly. Great. This DAC sounds amazing. That's when you lose me. You fucking lost me already. Because all a DAC can do is be competent or maybe slightly more more feature rich. It's never like, oh man, I just want to listen to my DAC all day long. No, stop. Zeospantera has cut you off in his brain. You've gone from human being to fucking audiophile. So this, ignoring this, shoving this in, you literally can't do anything to it. All it has is a cool display, which has no brightness controls, no touching, no nothing. All it has is a cool display that tells you your bit depth and kilohertz. You could hide that under the table and then just concentrate on the things that are actually making the sound good. The amp matters. The headphones matter. The wire doesn't matter for sound unless you have a really shit wire. No, that's it. There's the only way wire would actually sound better. Or if you're going from an unbalanced to balanced and you just need a better wire to go balanced, you need a different wire to go balanced. All right. I'm trying to like avoid talking about the DAC, but the upgrade, they went from the D10 to the D10S that made it like, okay, this is trustworthy now. If you read the numbers, and DACs are a lot about numbers, this has a better DAC than the D10S, which it kind of has to be a little bit different. Where are we? So, by the way, I don't know who's doing the stuff for APOS, but that font is straight. I'm seeing like a 1930s Caribbean vacation font. I don't know. They need to... Where's the X that gets me the hell out of here? Of course, it's bottom middle. And there's a million pictures on here. A million. The Sabre ES9038Q2M Hi-Fi DAC, of course. Is there a lo-fi DAC? Is anything post-fixed with lo-fi DAC? Because I'd love to meet it. There's got something kind of fucking hilarious here. They talk about hooking up to active speakers. Like, I have those fluids back there. And yes, I could take the XLRs coming off those fluid audios and plug them right into the back of this. Problem with that is, then I'm relying on the volume control of the laptop, because I could just lower the foobar volume on this laptop, and then it cuts the signal to the USB, and it lowers volume. I don't recommend that. You can do it. It's just that if anything happens, if for some reason you're trying to control with Windows and you're using like the Windows down and up, and then a Windows update happens and the computer restarts and all of a sudden your volume's at 100, then your speakers are at 100. And there's no way to panic lower it, because there's nothing to do but yank this whole fucking thing out and throw it on the ground and go, ah! So I don't recommend hooking up powered speakers to something that is just a pure line out DAC. If you've got something to go between this output and the speakers that had a physical volume knob, that's fine. Most digital outputs like this, this Element has obviously XLR outs. I think it has XLR outs. I think it has XLR outs, and that would have a volume, and you could set it, and it's fine. So yeah, I would ignore that bit. Connect to power headphone amp. Yes. USB interface application. Yes. Oh, they also warn you, and this has to be a thing now, do not try to convert the balanced output of this to RCA. Some units can do it, and some units will literally fucking explode, because an RCA has two things, the ground and the pin. Two. XLR have three things. There's hot ground, and there's negative ground. There's hot. I don't want to describe this properly, but I'm going to. There's a ground, and then two hots, basically, a positive and a negative, and that's why it's balanced, because there's a middle line, then there's up, and there's down, and it travels and has higher voltage. Trying to convert that down will either remove a pin entirely or touch two together that aren't supposed to be touching, so bad news. Do not buy this if you have something that only has RCA inputs. You need balanced outputs. In fact, hold on. Code Phoenix Illusion was a lithium Eknot. All right, plugging that in. Now we're going to unplug. I would shut this unit off, but there's no way to shut it off without unplugging the USB, which would then break the connection. And then we're going to take a 50-50 chance that one of these is right and one of these is left. Hey, that's right. And that's left. There you go. Because they came on. So now I'm tacking the topping L50 with the topping D10. And again, it's like... Actually, I put that on low gain. Yeah, no, it's a fucking solid DAC. This is a much cleaner solution than this fucking monstrosity. Like, I'm so glad they give you these. Because if they didn't give you these, you'd have to find them. When I did the topping E50, whatever the hell DAC that is, I'm like, why didn't it come with this? Why didn't it come with this wire? How the fuck are you supposed to use this DAC without going shopping? You should never get a product in the mail and then have to buy anything but batteries. And even then, it's like, why didn't you just give me batteries? You know you got batteries. So the fact that it comes with these massive honking adapters in the box, probably why this is $140 and not $120, because someone had to buy these. Who makes them? Yongsheng. These are some Yongsheng adapters. They're not bad quality. Like the actual from here up is super nice. Back here is just standard. I mean, it matches the Amphenol as far as like fit and finish. But that is a big, bulky, pro level connector on that shit. They do sell, and I'll see if I could link them. They do sell TRS to XLR just wires, like single wires. I just got to find the right ones to go into a normal amp, like a musician, if I wanted to use something that, because this is fine. I like this. This is fine. This is less fine. This is less fine. Just less fine. It almost is so heavy that it will tilt the unit back, because this is not a heavy unit. It doesn't, you know, you got to open up and fill it with fucking glass and sand to make it like substantially not get yanked down off the table by this shit. So that's like kind of a negative, but at the same time I understand, but at the same time I'm like, you sure you couldn't fit just 2 XLRs there? They probably couldn't. They didn't want to change the whole, they wanted to stick with the old school case. So where were we? We're listening to this off of this. Change the tracks from Code Phoenix. Hey, remember the movie The Force Awakens? Neither do I. Welcome to the Party from Die Hard. I love the soundtrack, but you could tell it's just not the highest recording quality, and I hate that. We need to go back in time. Richard Cheese, die, motherfucker, die. So, I'm so pissed. I didn't think I was ever burning in that screen. I figured if I made it transparent enough, it wouldn't happen, but it happened. My baby. Yes. Of course I'm going to recommend this. I've recommended the topping D10. I recommended the topping D10S. Of course I'm going to recommend the topping D10 balanced. The only concerns are this massive fucking chunk that you have to have sticking out the back of it if you want to use it as a DAC. It will still, here's the thing, you don't have to use this thing's internal DAC at all. It used to be back in the day, I would recommend this just to convert USB into a SPDIF, into fiber optic or coaxial digital. But somewhere along the way, this came out. This is the Duke Audio U2, which is just a, I think it's USB micro, unfortunately. It's a USB micro to optical and coaxial adapter. Because the conversion process, here's the thing. There is a conversion process. You're going from a digital input of USB to coaxial or optical, and it has to generate that signal. It has to convert from whatever the fuck. It's not just taking ones and zeros and putting them there. It has to convert it to light and electrical signals from another electrical signal. So there's actually some processing happening in here. And you can fuck that up. It can be bad. And I think the very, very few times I'll talk about ASR, but I think ASR measured this. Because that's fine. Audio Science Review can take his measurement rig out all the fuck he wants for like the digital conversion process from one thing to another. That's his round. That should be his wheelhouse. And this was like one of the best things. And I don't know if you checked this, but I've been using it. It's the simplest. It's like literally, I have a laptop. Here's the thing. I have a laptop, in case you haven't noticed. It's a laptop. By the way, laptop on the GroveMade stand, which is just like the fucking musician Pegasus sits right underneath it, and it's got this affiliate link to the GroveMate stands. Buy a GroveMate stand. God damn it, it's so fucking nice. With the little aluminum lip. I have a laptop, and there's been more times than I can count there I'm like, all right, I want to hook something up to this laptop audio-wise. USB. What if I don't want to use USB? What if I want to bring a Geshelli stack, which only now the new Geshelli stuff has USB. But what if I wanted to hook up a Geshelli thing and you're fucked? Then what do I got to do? Got to bring another $100 unit? No. I would bring out the Duke. In fact, this one has blue tack gunked all over the back of it because it sat right here. When I was sick, not COVID, but when I was sick in bed and I was like, I'm not getting out of fucking bed. I literally blue tacked this to the side of to the back of my monitor, plugged it in, and had a 25-foot fiber optic cable going to the Lox J30 in my bedroom so that my Ohm Walshes with the add-on Aperion tweeters could play the sound of JoJo. I started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure while sick in bed on my little laptop, but I wasn't listening on laptop speakers, and frankly, I didn't want to listen on headphones because I'm not a headphone guy. I'm a speaker guy, especially if you're sick. No one wants to wear fucking headphones while they're sick. So I said, fuck it. I went down to the basement. I found this. I got blue tack. I glued this to the back of my screen so I could stand it up. And then fiber optic out all the way to my Lox J30 because Bluetooth apparently isn't in my fucking laptop. I can't get Bluetooth to work. And I just ran pure digital right into the A30, and the A30 played my speakers, and I was watching JoJo go, oh, no, fucking, $4,000 in speakers with a little laptop in bed going, I don't want to die. This show is great. So having an adapter that can actually turn USB into SPDIF, SPDIF, Sony Philips Digital Interconnect Format, Sony Philips Digital Interconnect Format, or Interface, take your pick, is fucking useful. And you could buy one of these with having no plans to use the DAC itself, just to convert from USB to SPDIF or USB and coaxial. Hell, if you did that, you could then get 2 digital outputs, and you could just, if you don't want to do any more splits after that, just have a pair of speakers with a fiber optic input and a desktop DAC cam stack with coaxial input, and you're good to go. One thing I did notice, not a flaw, but just a limitation of SPDIF, is I had this set to 384. In fact, the thumbnail of this video I took before I took the video, and I had it set to 32-bit 384, and that stopped working. The Rune Ready fucking Element 1 was like, can't connect. And the reason it can't connect is because fiber optic and coaxial digital cannot push 384. So it's going to Windows on this laptop and set it to 192. So now it's at 192. It's at 32-bit 192. That still works. That means I can plug it in from here into here. I got to review that amp. Actually, that's the amp DAC. So now these aren't playing off of, this is just doing a conversion and giving it to the element. So if this was under the desk and I didn't know it was there, I wouldn't know there's $130 anything. It would just be like, wow, this, I think this is $600 or $700. Sounds fucking amazing. This is just doing a very simple job of convert it cleanly, convert it without any fucking noise, and be done with it. So if you wanted to just have a USB hub with a cool screen that gave you the option to hook up 2 separate individual DACs on whatever, get it. And then if you, actually, you know what? When I first did this stack, before I moved to that, what I did was that exact thing. Laptop to this. I had the fiber optic out of this going to a bunch of splitters, and I had the coaxial digital going to another DAC, and that DAC was doing something over there, and then the RCA output to this, because I have a fuckload of DACs. In case you haven't noticed, I have DACs. I have lots of DACs. I didn't need to use a DAC in the D10 or the D10S. What the RCAs did was feed these VU meters. So the VU meters were getting a constant high signal, and they were doing their dance, and everything else was going out. So if you ever wanted to know how to do that, because this is $40, but it gives you 2, but this is $100, or this one's $100, so you would get enough digital outputs to go do your equipment. But then the RCAs, if you didn't need to use them, you could use them for a VU meter and not have to worry about any interference. My biggest fear with a VU meter like this is it has to touch your fucking analog, and that's bad news bears for anyone who's an audiophile. Like, don't touch my analog. Don't you fucking touch my analog signal, you prick. You're going to introduce noise, because it's definitely the Chinese $12 board is going to introduce noise back into it. You know it's going to. Until IT Man and I work out a different VU meter, which, by the way, keep in mind for that. That might be coming. But yeah, it's a good way to isolate. Like, I just need an analog out without concerning myself with my digital path. And there you go. That was my particular use case for it. So for $100, you get this for $100. If you want to ever have a balanced option, you get this for $139. I still don't remember the price. I think it's $139. $139 in black or silver. Please be in stock in silver. Yes, I recommend silver. You know why? Because at least silver, you could take a magic marker to it and fucking color it in. Although, I think anime stickers look better on black units, which I was looking for anime stickers to put it on the Pegasus, the Andromeda. Not the Pegasus. Pegasus is there. I couldn't find them. Anyway, I think that's it. I literally spent enough time rambling, and I didn't need to. It's not that complicated unit. I can't even turn it off. Off is unplug. But somebody watching this went, you know what? Zeo says right. I need that for this particular scenario where I'm in my garage and I want to have balance cables. If you want to do really long runs for whatever reason, and you just need balance for that, there you go. Balance XLR cables. Zeos in the description. Link the longest XLR cables you can find on Amazon. Let's see how long I can find them. I bet I can find 300 footers. You think I can find 300-foot cables on Amazon? I bet you I could find a 300-foot XLR. I don't know if that's a recommended length, though. That's pretty fucking long. But the whole point of balance, the whole point of having multiple connectors and different types of wires is for pro applications. It's when Queen would play on stage. They would plug, you know, all that shit in with giant XLR cables and go across the fucking whole thing. Because RCAs lose voltage at 2 volts, and they collect interference, and XLRs don't at long, long lengths. An XLR for 2 inches doesn't help you that much. That's not 2 inches. That's... Yes. I'm done. Wallpaper with the saddest wallpaper because this color revealed to me all the burn-in of my monitor. So feel free to download that and just whatever color that is. It's like a maroon gray. It's death. It brings death and destruction. But get that. Get this. Get the Grove Mate stand. I'll link to all this shit I pointed at. If I can still find the gray stack, I'll just link to Geshelli because they're good people and they constantly listen to my suggestions, which is the best thing a company can do. Please, God almighty. Periapt, thank you for creating the Z-Reviews cable, which will be available for a limited time. Get yours today. I would tell them to make a Chewbacca one, but it would have to be covered in fur. Just go to like a dog kennel and just drag the wire around. Just whip it around, let the dogs chew on it and shit, and then make cables out of it. That would be the official stinky Chewbacca cable. Love that girl. Anyway, I'm done. You're done. Patreon and subscribe so to support this channel. $5 a month lets you see reviews early, participate in yard sales where I ship products to you internationally or free in the continental United States, and get into the Sound Demo Oasis where you can hear all the sound demos live and unfucking molested by YouTube. And then the $10 chat lets you ask me questions directly, and you get into a lifetime swap meet chat when you're in there, so you could sell your gear, which you're gonna want to do when you want to get out of this fucking hobby and start doing something else like fly fishing. I gotta sell this audio equipment. Gotta buy the best fly fishing rig. That's where you go. I've been Zeospantera, and I'll see you in 2 more days.